afternoon, where we're going to be provided an update on the investigation into the matter surrounding the unfortunate passing of Mr. Marco Warren. We're going to get the update, of course, from Detective Inspector Jason Smith, and we will also be hearing from a representative from the family, Ms. Tammy Smith. First off is the Detective Inspector Smith. Tammy Stevens, my apologies.
Good afternoon. You will recall that in previous press conferences that the Bermuda police reported on an accident that happened in the early morning hours of Saturday the 14th of May 2023 along North Shore Road, in which the life of Marco Warren was taken. You recall that from that initial investigation, police press appeal, that we were asking for the public's assistance in trying to, one, trace the steps of Marco from the location that he was at, which we believe from our investigations was the Bayless Bay Cricket Club at a party, up until the time that his body was found on North Shore Road in the area of Trinity Church Road and Panorama Drive. The investigation into those circumstances, since it was reported to the police, have been ongoing. You recall, as a recap, that it was just at about 3:15 a.m. on that May 14th morning that police received some 911 calls that reported that Mr. Marco Warren, that his body was found on the road, and an investigation commenced. Today, we have spoken to a number of persons who have provided us with some statements and have given us some assistance that has caused the investigation to be now in what we would say is an advanced stage. But we are continuing today to make an important press appeal for the assistance from members of our public who might have been traveling along the North Shore Road sometime between 3 a.m. and 3:15 a.m. on that 14th of May, and in particular, the junctions between Trinity Church Road and Panorama Drive. Any persons who was driving any vehicles at that particular location who might have seen Marco Warren, as this investigation is in an advanced stage, it's going to be very, very helpful to us in us being able to bring closure to the family of Mr. Warren. As has been indicated previously, with us today is a cousin of Marco who would like to come and make a couple of comments. Ms. Tammy Stevens.
Good day, everybody. First, I'd like to say thank you to the community service. As the Detective Smith said, initially we were a bit upset with the investigation, but we are much more hopeful at this point. So I would like to say thank you again, and also to appeal to anyone that has any information whatsoever that can help bring Marco's the accident, shed some light on the accident, basically. Marco was so special to us. He was a small person, but he had such a big personality. He was working on a family crash course that's not been finished. He has a son that is not going to be able to watch birth. He has a girlfriend that is not going to be able to propose to. He has sisters that won't be able to make memories with him. He was so special, and I'm just begging and pleading anyone that has any further information whatsoever. It might seem small to you, but it might be the exact piece of the puzzle we need to solve this. So again, I'm begging, pleading, anyone who has any information that can help bring Marco's killer to justice, please help us to do so.
Is there any other questions for Mr. Smith? Identifying your company first.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Jonathan Bell from the wrong set. With respect, sir, as you've been referring to it as an accident, is no longer being classed as a hit and run?
Well, the investigation is ongoing, so I don't want to go into the specifics. At the appropriate time, we may be in a position to have a conversation with the Department of Public Prosecutions, and then we should be able to advance and answer this question.
Are you able to shed any light on the circumstances leading up to the incident?
So from our investigation, we do know that Marco Warren was traveling on foot as he left the Bayless Bay Cricket Club, and then he was making his way home along North Shore Road. heading in a westerly direction.
Has the investigation yielded any dash cam evidence or CCTV that you can tell us about?
So we have reviewed some CCTV footage, and that has assisted us in our investigation. But this important message today is the key witness or witnesses who might have seen Marco walking along the Worcester Road. As I said, anytime between, or anywhere between the Bayless Bay, entrance to Bayless Bay Cricket Club, and then up into Panorama Drive between 3 a.m. and 3:15 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
Traveling to TNN News. Why hasn't the police considered this a murder investigation? Because if someone hits someone and leaves them on the roadside and they die, ain't this not considered a murder?
So our lines of inquiry are open. That's why we're making this appeal today for witnesses to come forward to have to shed light. As I mentioned earlier, the investigation is in a fairly advanced stage, and at the appropriate time, we will be able to sit down with the Department of Public Prosecutions and have further discussions on what line of inquiry we're going to go from there. But at this stage, it is an open investigation, and as such, we're appealing and continue to make our appeal for those witnesses that was traveling along that road, as I mentioned earlier, at that particular time.
I know it's kind of hard to just question what evidence was left on Marco that indicates the type of vehicle, color of vehicle, spray paint, anything that can assist in this inquiry.
Well, Trevor, those are particulars of the investigation that I'm not at this stage able to go into detail with, but I just want to reiterate that the purpose is help us with the information so that we can make further advancements with this investigation. And as Ms. Stevens has said, we can then bring closure to this time.
Are you close to solving this situation? How close are you to solving this unfortunate situation?
What I would say is that we are at a fairly advanced stage, and we await public assistance, further assistance, to help us get further. But the investigation is progressing, and we're just asking for the public's assistance to help us to move further in this investigation.
Good afternoon, Detective L.A. Warren family. Just for the sake of clarity, when you say it's advanced, the investigation, what exactly has changed?
Well, so as we do in most investigations from time to time, we review them. And this is one case in which we have been continuing reviewing. And so as a result of that review, we believe that we are now at a fairly advanced stage.
Has anyone in the community, whether anonymous or otherwise, come forward to help with this investigation?
So we have had some public assistance with persons who have come forward to give us statements. That again has helped us to bring some clarity. But that's why we are making this appeal today, because of the very critical stage that we're at, that we need any other more assistance for persons that was traveling along that road that might have seen Marco. And so if you've seen him walking, that's very, very important to us.
Are there any suggestions at this stage in the investigation that the suspect or driver of that vehicle may have left the island?
Again, I don't want to go into the specifics of suspects, but let me just say that the investigation is progressing.
Is there any indication that there were other people in the vehicle that was being driven?
Again, those are specifics that we won't go into at this stage, but the investigation is progressing.
One last question. Why hasn't a cash reward been put in place to bring these perpetrators to justice?
Well, as I said earlier, Trevor, these cases are reviewed, and so upon review, if that is appropriate, and that's where we are, then I'm sure that those appeals and offerings will be made. But at this stage, we are actively investigating it. We are actively pursuing lines of inquiry, and that's where the public's assistance is very, very important to us so that we can advance this investigation.
So one last one. Has any overseas assistance been sought in this investigation?
Yes.
Anything further that you can reveal about that assistance?
I would just say that we have had the assistance of a forensic overseas expert that has assisted us. And we're just awaiting some further reports on those updates of our report
Are you able to tell us from where, country?
from the United States.
Thanks.
Any other questions, members of the media?
Ms. Stevens wants to say something further.
So I didn't say this earlier, but I understand that sometimes you can gather information and you might not want to reveal yourself when given the information. So if confidentiality is an issue, please call me 707-1636. Confidentiality is my business. Rest assured that any information given to me you won't be told who you are if you reveal yourself. My phone number is 707-1636. Again, 707-1636. My email address is TAMARA Stevens, STEVENS, 00@gmail.com. So again, Tamara Stevens 00@gmail.com. Please call me. My car is rated 371280. Drive a Red Toyota Corolla. Leave a message on my car. Any information would be helpful. Thank you.
And in addition to that, if you have any other information, you can contact me directly at 717-0864. Crime Stoppers, which is 800-8477, or you can email me at jsmith2@bps.org.
Okay, members of the media, thank you very much for attending today's press conference, and we hope that members of the public will accede to the requests that were made by Ms. Stevens and, of course, Detective Inspector Smith to come forward and see what you know, if in fact you have any information with regard to this incident.